Maddie today. Today we're going to do a makeup tutorial for Tony Stark. If you have been looking for a tutorial that does not involve gluing hair to your face, you come to the right place. This is like an eyeshadow beard thing. If you're coming for wig help on Tony, I can't help you there. This is my real hair. So, but if that fulfills your requirements for what you want to be doing with Tony Stark cosplay, or just male makeup in general, this is the place for you, and I hope you enjoy. First, I'm going to list off all the things you'll need. You will need these makeup wipes. You will need primer. I use e.l.f. You will need foundation. I use the matte poreless, the Fit Me stuff. It works perfectly well. Eyeshadow palette. I don't know how to pronounce that, but find a good eyeshadow palette that has neutrals. You'll need to find finishing powder, NYX I use, a contour brush, a fluffy brush, an eyeshadow brush, an angled brush, which is very important in this tutorial. You'll also need a sponge. Alright, so first step, we need to wet the sponge. This is a very important step in order to properly blend the foundation into our face. Squeeze out the water, make sure it's not too wet. You don't want to be dabbing. If there's water coming off of it when you hit it against the surface, then that is too much water. You gotta squeeze it all out. Now make sure your brushes are clean. If they're not, do what I'm doing right here. I don't clean my brushes very often, so I have to do this every single time I start my makeup. Alright, first you're going to clean your face off with a makeup wipe, just to get all the dirt from the day off of your face, so you're starting anew and putting on makeup without having to deal with the already there sweat. Next step, once that's dry, we're going to use primer. Primer helps to put the makeup on something other than your face. It's like a barrier. Make sure that if you sweat a lot, or just sweat in general, like most humans do, that you're putting makeup on to a surface that is not going to sweat it all off. So it's a very important step for me. It's very important, especially if you're going to a con. You don't want to have all your makeup come off. And you also want to put this all over where you're going to put the beard, all over the place. You want to make sure that there is no place left unturned that your makeup can get to your face on. Once that's dry, we're going to use foundation. So how to apply foundation? I put it on my hand. You can put it on a paper towel, doesn't really matter, but I use my hand and it's coming out slowly. And then you just kind of put dots all over your face. Helps to evenly distribute it. And once again, put it everywhere that you're going to put makeup. This includes underneath the chin, because there will be makeup there at some point. So all along the jawline, everywhere that you're going to put makeup, you're going to want to put foundation on it. And just wipe that off on a paper towel. I use that excess foundation later in case I make mistakes on the beard. And now we just blend it in with that sponge. A buddy is a good idea at this point to help you see if you got every place blended in. It's weird if you don't get all the places blended in and you got little spots in some places and it looks, obviously unnatural. So just kind of blend that all in. If you need to ask for somebody's help, I suggest that. I suggest getting someone to tell you if you blend it all in, because the human eye can only reach so far on the face. I can't, for example, see my jawline, so I just kind of blindly blend if no one's there to help me out. Alright, once you're done with that, I put chapstick on my lips real quick, because you want to lightly foundation your lips. The pink lips of a female even if that's the same shade as a male, is more feminine than masculine, so we want to cover it up just a tiny bit. Alright, after we're done that, we're going to start the contour. So pull out your eyeshadow, and you're going to take the lightest natural brown. And this color is going to be a lot of the base and the structure of what the contour is going to be. So I contour the side of my nose and up into the eyebrow. This just gives me a more manly look. Now, since Tony has not a very sharp, long feature face, we're not going to go crazy with the contouring, and you want to blend it, but you still do a little bit of contouring just because makeup. Alright, with that same color, shade in your temples a little bit. Again, this is something that helps to create a more manly facial feature. If you're a dude, then you really don't have to worry about that, but you can still put it in if you want. Same color again, just shading my jawline. I am graced with a good jawline, but if you need it, or if you want to, like I do, just shade along there. And then blend. This is very hard to do because you can't see, so this is a great time to call for your buddy. Alright, now we're going to do the old man lines, I like to call it. Same color with that base stuff. Oh god. You smile like the Joker, and you trace those creases in order to make it look like you've been smiling your whole life, which we know Tony has not, but, you know, positivity. And then trace along those bag lines right underneath. If you don't have bag lines, I envy you. Just to make it look like he's tired, because he is. And blend that a lot because you don't want to look like you have lines. Now we're going to contour those furrows in the brow. You start with the bottom of the furrow, and then after that you go to the top. Leave a non-connected space in between so that it looks natural. And I blended it in too much. I didn't like how light that was, so I darkened it a little bit. There we go. So you can tell I like making faces. Alright, now this color, which is the second darkest, or the second lightest brown natural, is to go over the stuff that I want it to be darker or more emphasized. I do it under the eyes and on the edges of the nose, just to give a little bit more depth. But not a lot. I want to go very light with this. Alright, this is the angled brush. Alright, I really like to do those old man creases very prominently, so I'm going to take this accenting color and accent my old man creases because Tony is an old man. And this takes a lot of practice, so be patient with yourself. The more you do this, the more satisfied you'll get every time. Taking that second lightest color again and just accenting the stuff that I want to be darker on my facial features. I love having a jawline, like very sharp jawline. I think is very important, especially for Tony who has a square face. I mean, long faces, it matters too, but it's good to have that sharpness. Alright, next we're going to do the contouring. Take that light color that we were using beforehand, and I just go along the underneath of my cheekbone. You can feel it, the little space that you can put your finger up to, the indent. I just go along there. Obviously, I have more of a square face, so I don't really have to do much. I don't have to bring that line down towards my chin because I have a square face, and Tony doesn't really have a skinny face. So I don't suggest trying to make this overly prominent because Tony does not really have a skinny long face. And then with that darker color, you trace that line again, tap it out, just make sure that you don't put too much on there, like I did. And then you want to drag that color down, just to make sure it's not just a line. And then you want to blend all over the place. On that line, above that line, and also underneath the line in that area that you brought the color down. You want this to be as natural as possible. Too harsh and it won't look like a natural shadow. Alright, we're going to use that base color. Alright, here, this is my least favorite part. Alright, so we're going to make an hourglass on the chin. Now, it's very hard for me to do this because I have scoliosis, which means my eyes are not even, and so it's really hard for me to get it looking symmetrical, so I try as best I can. And I'm putting on my glasses because I could not see, because I am also blind. So that hourglass figure, you can look at reference photos of Tony. This took me about a few times to be satisfied after staring at reference photos. Same color, and you go above the lip. Don't go on the lip. See how I'm leaving a space between my lip and the mustache? Is because it does not grow right there. It does not. So just, yep. Make sure to make it as symmetrical as you can. I have an issue with that. If you mess up, you can use the foundation on your towel or on the tip of your bottle just to, and dab it where you messed up, just to give yourself a fresh start, and then just blend that in like I just did. Yep, with the sponge. These are really hard. When you draw these, imagine that the mustache is continuing onward, but there's a space in between the mustache and that little thing. And now I am blending a line in between the hourglass and those two little lines. And now I'm using that darker color to fill in. Or wait, no, I'm not. I'm edging the things that I already put there, just to emphasize it so that I can see it better. It's hard to do this when the lines are light, and it loses its shape when you don't do this. So I suggest outlining it. It's all lines right now. It's nothing special. Alright, use that same color, and we're going to fill in that hourglass. Now be careful, this takes a long time. Make sure you don't go over the lines. You don't want it to look like you have fingerprint smudges. And bring it down. Don't just stop at your chin, bring it down below your chin, and follow that line. Make sure that it's not just on your jawline, but also a little bit above and a little bit below, because that's how beards grow. See, a little bit below, yeah. Not just on the outline that you can see face head on. Continue the line underneath and shade. Shade that a little bit. I always have a huge problem doing those. So be very careful. There I go. I'm fixing my mistakes with that emergency foundation because I make a lot of mistakes in this process. Do that here. You want to kind of shade above the line that you made. You don't want to go underneath the line because then you're going in that space that you didn't want any mustache. Alright, now we're going to add 3D to our beard. So we're using the second darkest color, so the third lightest, and we're making strokes. Now, it doesn't matter, well, it does matter, but it's not as important that these are very distinct strokes because we're going to use a different color to make that distinct 3D feeling. But right now, you're adding these stroke lines to your beard. You want to follow the natural hair growth. So again, look at pictures of Robert Downey Jr., look at pictures of bearded dudes. Go outside of that shaded line a little bit just to create that 3D effect. You don't want to go too much out of it. Again, this is kind of the base 3D. Now those lines are always really hard. Also make sure that your jawline hair line thing is also connected to those two lines there and connected to the hourglass as well. Just make sure everything's connected. Go along your mustache. If you mess up, just use that emergency foundation. Like I am right now. just be very patient with yourself. This is a difficult process. Just stare at yourself. Figure out what you need to fix. Alright, now we're going the darkest color, the black color. And you want to tap that out a lot so that you don't have harsh lines, at least in the beginning. And just kind of do the same lines. You're filling in the space, making it more 3D. And these lines should not be blending, they should be distinct. And then after a little while, if you're feeling like you're not getting enough harsh lines to make that true 3D effect, don't tap the black out, just get a little bit and do it untapped so that it will give you the marks that you want in the places that you want, so that you get a more 3D effect, a more harsh effect, so it doesn't look like a blended mass. And then you want to bring those marks down. Again, a beard does not stop at the line of your head-on image, so you're going to want to bring it down underneath your chin. And I messed up again. Yep, and just do that. There we go again. Just go along the hairlines. Alright, now get your button-up shirt once you are done with your beard and are satisfied. Get your tie. I was feeling a gold tie this evening. Oh, it's my Doctor Strange collar. Get somebody to tie the tie for you if you don't know how, because I didn't know how, and all of my ties are pre-tied by friends and dad. Now get your arc reactor. If you need help making one, comment and I will make a video about that. And the most important is your sunglasses. Thank you all for watching. If it was enlightening or it was helpful in any way, or you just like watching my face, feel free to subscribe, like the video, comment, feedback on what makeup tutorial you want to see next, feedback on literally everything. Tell me I'm a horrible person. I won't believe you, but you can comment that as well. Just feedback is all I ask for. Yeah, if you like this, if this helps, I'm glad. See you guys soon.